In the headlines, Academic Staff Union of Universities extends its warning strike by 2 months as negotiations continue. 31 Nigerian students from Romania return home as evacuation exercise continues. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo notifies President Buhari of presidential ambition. And renewed diplomatic talks with Russia might open the way for more civilians to evacuate a day after the war intensified in western Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has extended its warning strike for another 2 months. The union made the resolution to extend the strike at its National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja on Sunday night. According to the union, it is concerned that there were no concrete offers from the government to convince the union to call off the strike and frowned at the statement credited to both the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and the Director General NIDDA to the effect that University Transparency Accountability Resolution UTAS has failed the integrity test. The demands include the revitalization of public universities, earned academic allowances, University Transparency Accountability Solution, promotion arrears, renegotiation of 2009 ASUU federal government agreement, and alleged inconsistencies in integrated payroll and personnel information system payments. Suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari will stay in detention for another 2 weeks as Federal High Court adjourns ruling on his bail application till the 28th of March. Justice Emeka Nwite, however, granted his prayer again to remain in the NDLEA custody till the next adjournment date. We'll bring you more details in our subsequent bulletin. Now, 7th batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived Nigeria on Monday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The Nigerians arrived aboard a Turkish airline and were airlifted from Romania, where they had fled following the invasion in Ukraine. The evacuees, numbering 31, were received by officials of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, and the Refugee Commission. This is the second set of evacuees from Romania following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has left many displaced. However, unlike the previous batches of returnees that arrived via chartered flights, the 31 evacuees arrived on a commercial flight. Hundreds of people have been killed in Ukraine since Russia invaded the country, while over 2 million people have been displaced. 2 Ukraine mayors have been abducted by invading Russian forces, bringing strong condemnation from the European Union. Still ahead, fear grips residents of Shimfiɗa village after withdrawal of military personnel providing security to the village in Jibia local government area in Katsina State. The 7 children are reported dead and 19 people abducted in the village, in addition to several others unaccounted for. Abdullahi Yamadi meets some of the people from Shimfiɗa village at an internally displaced persons camp in Jibia. His report.
About 7 of their children suffocated and died in the 2 vehicles that conveyed the few that were lucky to escape the rigor of trekking the over 47-kilometer Shimfiɗa to Jibia feeder road. The villagers left Shimfiɗa to Jibia town, leaving behind everything in terms of food, clothes, and other valuables. Arrived this camp exhausted, tired, and weak. The over 15,000 residents of Shimfiɗa village arrived in Jibia, while others proceeded to some communities in Madarumfa area of Niger Republic, where they are taking refuge, leaving behind a woman on labor, about 18 old men and women who are very weak and tired. These IDPs say as they deserted Shimfiɗa last Thursday, bandits in their numbers surrounded the village, burnt all the properties they left behind, and abducted 19 people who were unable to escape, mostly disabled and the old ones. When we left Shimfiɗa, the bandits went in and burnt everything that belongs to us. They burnt everything, almost everything was burnt down, and they took away some of our properties. Kabiru Hamisu Shimfida, whose wife and children are among the abductees, called on the government to assist in rescuing their families and provide securities to the community to enable them return to their ancestral homes. My wife and my child were abducted. I left them there as I was confused. They have been abducted. Cross television camera captured about 5 old people who just arrived at the IDP camp, exhausted and tired. Everybody ran for safety and left us in the village. The bandits came and abducted us, but we were lucky. We were freed. They know we have nothing to pay ransom, and there is nobody left to pay for us. This boy is my grandson. I never thought I would see him again. I thought he was kidnapped, abducted, or he has died. Though there is no official IDP camp in Katsina State, there are over 8,000 internally displaced persons from Shimfida village alone taking refuge in this primary school. The IDPs require urgent attention to cushion some of their hardships, especially food, clothing, and shelter. There are about 9 of them, but at this point in time I will passionately call on the authorities concerned to come to our aid. We are in their need. Most of them here sleep in this open space without adequate conveniences and clean water, beside other basic needs. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Cross Television News, Katsina.
Still ahead, coalition of the All Progressive Congress youth groups has passed a vote of confidence on Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni for his role as APC leader. The vote of confidence was announced by the convener of the group, Bashad Binji, in Abuja. According to the group, Buni remains the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee.
As APC youth group, wish to use this medium to pass a vote of confidence on the chairman of All Progressive Congress, APC, caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee, CECFC, Governor Mai Mala Buni, overall as a leader of the party, and most particularly wish to call on the youth and other members of the party to disregard fake news and any other attempts and flop to destabilize the party and success recorded so far. No well-meaning party member will condone any distraction at a time when the Buni-led CFC committee has done so much in repositioning the party in line with the guidance of President Muhammadu Buhari. Since being in saddle, Governor Mai Mala Buni has continued to increase the fortune of the party. As we approach a very crucial transition year 2023, we must invest more in every effort that can promote unity and peace in order to further convince Nigerians about the continued willingness of our party to transform Nigeria further.
In other news, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his presidential ambition. Reports say the Vice President told the President of his desire to take over from him at the expiration of his tenure to consolidate the achievements they recorded since they took over from the opposition PDP in 2015. According to reports, the Vice President had first consulted some prominent Nigerians who encouraged him to vie for the presidency, and they also encouraged him to tell the President himself, not to allow a third party to tell the President, so that the ambition would not be miscarried. Daughter of the APC national leader and its presidential hopeful Folashade Tinubu says her father will become president of Nigeria in 2023 despite his health challenges. The grand patron of Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu support group said that Bola Tinubu is the right choice for Nigerians even if APC drops its zoning formula. She explained that the crisis rocking the APC and the convention would not deter the party from victory.
He is fit and healthy, but anybody can say whatever they like. Even motor vehicles break down. It was down for some time, and he's been taken care of. For now, he's healthy. It's very obvious who sees it. So I believe strongly that the election is going to, the convention is going to hold on the 26th of March, inshallah.
Okay, what if power does not go to the southwest?
It will go, inshallah.
There you go. You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up, the story of three blind brothers running a successful business. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
All right, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Here are our top stories. Academic Staff Union of Universities asked to extend its warning strike for another 2 months as negotiations continue. Seventh batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived Nigeria Monday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Still ahead, Nigeria on Friday confirmed 36 fresh COVID-19 infections in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control said the cases were reported in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. According to the agency, 32 patients were discharged on Sunday after they recovered from the infection. Nigeria has now over 200,000 confirmed cases, over 200,000 discharges, and 3,142 deaths. In another update, the World Health Organization says it is too soon to declare COVID-19 an endemic, as cases are still rising in some parts of the world. According to the organization, the proclamation is not being considered at this time, but rather focused on what conditions would indicate the public health emergency proclaimed on January 30th, 2022. has ended. Saadu Isiaka is visually impaired for over 35 years, but he chooses to work rather than beg, as many blinds will resort to. He grinds dried cassava with 2 of his brothers, Nasiru and Suleiman, in Aguari at his local government area of Oyo State, making them popular among locals.
Food made from alubo flour is a favorite menu on the table in this community. Little wonder that Saadu and his brothers find consolation earning livelihood from grinding dried cassava. The 3 are blind but motivated and courageous. Saadu lost his vision in his mid-30s after trying orthodox and traditional medicine without success. He now runs grinding dried cassava business with near perfection. As a prince, though blind, he says he cannot resort to begging. According to him, he will rather do something dignifying for a living. It was Suleiman that first bought the machine and gave it to some people to run, but they later left. I learned how to operate the machine on my own, and I can start the machine including putting its belt. I have never gotten injured all along and no incident happened. The machine is getting old and we want to replace it. If we get assistance, we would be happy. He is still ambitious and expanding his horizons by venturing into other vocations.
2005.
I started experiencing this eye problem in the year 2005. I used to be a motorcycle mechanic. I'm married with 2 children. I actually spent a lot of money on the treatment of this eye problem with no remedy. So since then, I haven't had anything to do except with friends who often help me. Some of my friends even went to the extent of making me gain back my vision, but to no avail. I only attended elementary school, where I had my first living certificate in 1985. When I used to be a mechanic, I had a lot of apprentices working for me, but since I lost my vision, All my apprentices left me and I tried everything to make a living without success until I decided to venture into the milling business, and God has been faithful. At least through this business, I've been able to feed my family and myself. All I want from the government is that they should assist me financially because, even before my ordeal, I was always a motorcycle dealer. I wouldn't mind getting financial assistance from the government to help revive my old motorcycle dealership business. My name is Nasiru Isiaka. I am from Agwari, Oyo State. I am a grain miller. I and my elder brother, Seidu Isiaka, are the one managing this milling business outlet. I don't know the price of a miller machine, should anyone want to help out. My name is Suleiman Isiaka. We were all born and bred in Agwari, Oyo State. I only attended primary school to standard 6. I was a vehicle mechanic at some point, but the moment I lost my sight, I started trading in perishable goods and foodstuff. But I am constrained financially to extend the business further. I am married to 3 women and each of them gave me a child. At the moment, we are pleading with Nigerians, especially the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde. We need help in a lot of ways because we are all from the same biological parent. If the government and well-wishers could help us in any way so that we can take care of ourselves and also send our wards to school, that would be awesome for all of us. And it would be nice if the government would help us out with tools too, for me and my brothers. Sometimes I do trade on livestock as well, to resell for gain. Saadu is an example of hope even when the future may look bleak for people with disability.
Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness has commenced a sensitization campaign to create awareness on the dangers of open defecation in the Federal Capital Territory. Open defecation has been a recurring problem in most urban centers in Nigeria. Sagiri Prime has the details.
According to the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, the rate of open defecation in Nigeria has remained steady at 23%, and as many as 46 million Nigerians still defecate in the open. It is in light of this that the Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness, CESDA, is carrying out a public sensitization and awareness creation on the effect of open defecation and cholera on children below 5 years in markets and motor parks within the Federal Capital Territory.
The whole essence of why we are here today is to ensure that we keep a very clean environment. It's on the wake of this that we actually, feel that we need to come around, to Itaku Market, having identified Itaku Market as one of the largest markets in Abuja, given the population and given the reports that we commissioned earlier, sometimes in 2020, that actually named Itaku Market as one of the places that are prone to open defecation.
Mr. Olushola explained that the center intends to continue with the exercise in other parts of the territory to create awareness on proper sanitation and hygiene.
We want to encourage people to make good use of the toilet. And that's why, we are here today. One, to ensure that we clean up the market, which we have done in the morning. Then secondly, to make sure that we sensitize people. This continues. It's not limited to Itaku Market. We have equally mapped out some other markets in Abuja, as well as motor parks in Abuja. Arising from here, next week we are going to be going, to life camp, garden, and parks. So where is equally prone, to open defecation.
Some members of the market executive also lent their voices to the campaign.
Cleaning of environment is very, very important for every human being. As far as you are healthy, you need to protect yourself. That protection of yourself, it is even better than any medicine or having any cure.
The issue of cleanliness is very, 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 very important, especially with the women in our environment, in our houses, needs to be kept clean at all times. We need to take care of ourselves, proper hygiene in anything we do, our environment, to make sure everywhere is well cleaned.
We are grateful to have people who are thinking about our good well-being in respect of keeping our environment clean and sensitizing our traders on the habit of cleanness.
The high point of the exercise was the distribution of flyers and infographic materials, as well as the distribution of aprons to traders in the market. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
National Agency for the Great Green Wall in Jigawa State has raised concerns about threats to the security and safety of its facilities in some communities in Jigawa State. Umar Garba, field officer of the agency, while on assessment of field investments in the state, decried vandalism and theft on facilities provided by the agency. Garba said vandalism of facilities is negatively affecting the efforts of the agency, increasing the environmental challenges and ultimately causing delay in the delivery of the project.
Most of these community people are predominantly cattle rearing people. As a result, we're having issues of vandalization of facilities, sometimes by the animals and sometimes by some unknown people. That is the reason why the employment of forest guards was prompted. And so far, I think we have about 80-something to 90% coverage of our facilities equipped with forest guards. So most of the challenges, we had them at the beginning. Sometimes when we bring project down to the people, like this orchard we're in, it's been voluntary contributed by the people of the community. It's their farmland. If you look at the shape of the plantation, it's not squared, it's zigzag somehow. The reason is because some of them accepted it while some reject. So they've been bypassed based on the acceptance or rejection. That was what made the shape to be this way. We have other ones that is completely embraced. The water facility here is a tube well. As you can see, these are the solar panels that powers it. It's working perfectly well, but the little challenge is maybe when sometimes the sun is not as bright as it's supposed to be or hot, it affects the pumping of the water. When the climate is good, it works perfectly. The advice I have for the community is to ensure the sustainability of everything that has been planted here. That's for them to take care of it. It will make a great impact on them as a part of their livelihood. It will create shades.
And in business, oil prices dropped 3% on Monday amid reinforced diplomatic efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, shed 3.20%, trading at $109.1 per barrel. West Texas Intermediate also declined over 3% to $105.5 per barrel, according to reports. The development is coming on the heels of the meeting between Ukrainian and Russian negotiators on Monday via video link, after both sides cited progress. Negotiators had given their most optimistic assessments after weekend negotiations, hinting there could be positive results within days. The issue intensified as the United States banned the importation of coal, gas and oil from Russia, a major oil exporter which accounts for about 7 million barrels per day of crude and refined fuel, representing around 7% of global supplies. In Nigeria, it is expected that the downward trend in oil prices would provide succor to increasing diesel prices, while at the same time reducing importation expenses on refined petroleum products. The price of automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, had surpassed 600 naira per litre after crossing the 500 naira mark at ex-depot. A day after Moscow escalated its offensive by shelling areas perilously close to the Polish border, besieged Ukrainians hope renewed diplomatic talks with Russia might open the way for more civilians to evacuate. This comes as the International Committee of the Red Cross warns that residents of Mariupol face a worst-case scenario unless Russia and Ukraine reach an agreement to ensure humanitarian access. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warns the Russian attacks could expand to neighboring countries and urges NATO to impose a no-fly zone. Ukrainian reports say at least one person had been killed and 3 others injured when a shell hit a residential building in Kiev. And in sports, Lobby Stars management has sacked Eddie Dombre as the club's after disappointing home loss to Abia Warriors. The vice chairman of Lobby Stars announced the sack, also dissolving the club's technical crew. Meanwhile, coach Eugene Agabe will now act as interim coach to be assisted by goalkeepers coach Sam Adingi. And that's it on News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thank you for watching.